Alright, couple little simple details, you know what I mean? Simple details sometimes can make the big difference. But let's go over a few little points right here. First of all, 0 degrees, Aries, Neptune, Saturn conjunction. What's this really all about right here, okay? If we was to simplify everything, if I could simplify it, then I know that you could apply it to the specifics in your life and get to the depth of it. So let me simplify, okay? So, when you have Neptune and Aries, this is basically like, it's the point of attraction that has you to romanticize an object, to objectify something or to objectify someone. That's a good thing in this context because it's a spiritual attraction to something or someone. What makes it a spiritual attraction is that Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, okay? Venus is a sexual attraction, and sexual attraction simply means that your sexual energy and vitality is magnetizing a particular experience, desire, or outcome, okay? It's magnetizing the 5th house. That is a sexual attraction, to magnetize an object or ideal of the 5th house through the astral body. That's Venus. But when it comes to Neptune, it's much bigger, okay? It's bigger because it carries with it an ideal of fulfillment, an ideal of completion, an ideal of transcendence, an ideal of dissolving into the purpose of the overall theme of life and meaning in and of itself, where you get to feel like this is why I'm living, why I'm alive, why I came here. You know what I mean? It's bigger than yourself. Also, it carries with it a sense of universal love, joy, and beauty. Okay? Beauty that doesn't get judged, beauty that doesn't get criticized, beauty that doesn't get scrutinized. It's completely removed from any scrutiny or judgment or criticism. You see it in a purely positive or good light. Understand that, okay? So, were it not for this trance, this illusion that we're generating from Neptune, we would not be drawn to that Aries aspect. Okay, that's what draws us to that. It's like the sperm cell that knows where to go. You know what I mean? How does a sperm cell know to travel upstream? Okay, Neptune is how you, as a fucking sperm cell, knows how to travel to Aries. Okay, you travel to Aries through this cosmic, deeply spiritual force of consciousness that has you to elevate toward that direction, you know what I mean, of the egg. Okay, so the same thing is taking place with you right now concerning Neptune. It's a spiritual pull, that it's a spiritual force that's pulling you in that particular direction. Why? It's based on your need for identity. It's based on your need to claim and solidify identity. It's based on your need to materialize the concept, what you have conceptualized in your imagination and conviction of the spirit, into flesh form. You have to see yourself live out the reality, the personification, and the exemplification of that which you have conceptualized as being the meaning of who you are, which is informed by the shadow work of Scorpio and set on fire in passion and conviction with Black Moon Lilith Sagittarius transit. Okay, understand that. So this is all working together right here. Now, I got to use parables, you know what I'm saying, so it makes sense. So this is kind of like, you met this beautiful woman, right? You got this strong attraction toward her. You just up in the clouds. You see no fault, no error. Everything about her is just, so right, so perfect. You You overlook everything that's an error. You look everything that's a red flag. You overlook all of the nuances. You don't care what problems come along with her. Okay, this is, you're in your young years of naivety. You're in your young years of delusion. Okay, where you just can't even make this person a human. They're a deity in your eyes. Okay, it's a strong spiritual attraction that far surpasses a sexual attraction. Okay, sexual attraction, yeah, I want to fuck her. Okay, yeah, I really like this girl. That, okay, that's just a sexual attraction. But when it's spiritual, it's something that possesses your entire being, that you want to you want to unify with this person. You want to identify with this person. You want to consume this person. You know what I mean? You want to ravish this person. You know what I'm saying? You just caught up in a rapture about this person, head over fucking heels. You know what I mean? And what ends up happening is you start idealizing, you start conceptualizing and dreaming, okay, of what you want to feel with her, what you want to experience with her, how you want life to be with her. You just start dreaming and thinking of all these different things. You find yourself, drifting off of your imagination, planning shit out. I mean, you got the whole fucking lifetime planned out, you know what I mean? And she don't even know about it. You know what I'm saying? You just planned everything out in your fucking head, and she don't know a damn thing about it, but you just planned out your whole fucking life in your imagination. You went here, you went there, you did this and you did that, and you know what I mean? And she don't know nothing, So, this is where the power of imagination, and this is where illusion is taking over. It's the blue screen on a flat screen TV that's showing you all these visions that you select and choose as what your soul is gravitating toward, or what your soul is looking to manifest into reality out of the waters of Pisces. Okay, so to materialize and solidify a particular manifestation. So this is what it means to romanticize something. You know what I mean? You only see the good in it. Now, what Saturn does is Saturn is to be confronted with reality through measures of responsibility involved. Okay? So what ends up happening is you come down off that high, you get sober, you get grounded after looking at the measures, the numbers, the facts, the figures. Okay? So you're going through all this stuff in your head, but when you get up close, you finally start having conversations with this woman, right? You start, picking up enough information and insight about the person to where now you're starting to get the scope, the measure, the insight of what burden comes with this person, of what work comes with this person, what performance comes with this person, what accountability, responsibility, duty is going to come with this person, okay? What sacrifice is going to come with this person. Now you're looking at all of that, okay? So you went to the car lot and you seen this nice car, okay? The car dealer said, yeah, why don't you just go ahead and get in it? You know what I'm saying? You walked around the car, you all impressed by it, you love seeing it, and he told you to sit in the car. Yeah, let the seat back. Yeah, go ahead and start it up. Yeah, turn the heat on. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, get relaxed. You like music? Yeah, play the music. We got heated seats, leather seats and all that, you know what I'm saying? You smelling the new car smell and everything. That's the Neptune effect right there, you know what I'm saying? And what makes it more Neptune is that you feel like it's your destiny to have this car. You know what I'm saying? Like you feeling it's like it's your destiny, okay? When you look at something and you feel like it's your destiny, that's Neptune. You know what I'm saying? When it's a fifth house thing where it will be fulfilling for you, it will be meaningful, it will be pleasurable for you, that's just Venus. But when you feel like you're destined for what you see in your head, that's Neptune right there. When you feel like you're destined for something or someone, okay? And this could be person, place, or thing, okay? Person, place, or thing. So you sitting in the car, you feel like you're destined for it. It's possessing you, it's taking you over. You get that Neptune effect. And what makes this Neptune Aries is you feel like it's your destiny to have this car as part of what identifies you in status, and your ability to claim the status that you want to stand in. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm going to be that nigga who I'm saying I am, I have to have this kind of car. I have to have this kind of truck. And nothing else would do. Nothing short of it is going to work. Okay? So you've already decided that it's destined in your head. Now what Saturn is when you sit down and you go over the math. Saturn is when you actually talk the numbers out. You know what I'm saying? How much is this going to cost? Oh, okay. So, you look at a Carfax. You know what I'm saying? You considering taxes and rather or not you're gonna buy it right out or finance it. You know what I'm saying? What's the bank saying about this and what's the bank saying about that? How's this going to affect, what impact is this going to have on my personal finances in the long run? What is the maintenance going to look like on this? What does he, how much gas mileage, we talking about, different things like that. And so when you start considering all of the responsibility and the burden within the situation, okay, it balances out that state of delusion. It balances out the imagination, okay? It's a balancing factor. And so some of the hype starts to come down. Some of the gas starts to fizz. You see, you start to get sober. And that sobering effect, it grounds you to where now you're looking at things a little more realistic than what you started looking at it. You're looking at things a little more sincere, and you change the pace at which you're accelerating. You slow down, and you start to look at it more like a project. You look at it like a marathon instead of a race, instead of an impulsive action, instead of something that's going to give you instant gratification. You look at it as, okay, this is going to be accomplished in stages. I have to take my time with this because of all that's, all that is going to require. Rather it's a car that you feel like you're destined for, rather it's a particular woman that you feel like you're destined for. When you really feel like you're destined for something and you really want to take care or responsibility to what you feel destined for or about, you take your time to approach it. You don't rush, because you understand that to incorporate it into your life as part of your identity of what makes the meaning of your life, that forms the identity of your life. You know that those details are critical, the details are important, and you also understand that whatever has value, it has to be preserved and it has to be maintained. You understand what I'm saying? So you're considering all of that too. So this is all of those details, fine details and nuances that slows down your pace. It slows down the energy that you're approaching it by. You know what I'm saying? It helps you to approach it in a more sober mind state. And it helps you to also stop being in a damn rush about it. And you start thinking long term rather than short term about where you're going and how you're going to get there. And so this helps a lot, okay? Because it's going to have a direct and indirect effect over all other aspects of your chart, so that you approach things like, a strategic builder, a strategic constructor, instead of someone who's just impulsively darting into situations and circumstances. So if you also take notice with the 0 degree, we also have Pallas Athena and the North Node at 8 degrees Pisces conjunction, okay, at the same time that we have this 0 degree conjunction. Pallas Athena, North Node, okay? Pallas Athena is conjunct the North Node. The North Node, we're looking down the tunnel of the future. We're looking into the waters of the future. We looking ahead and we're intuitively sensing what's ahead or what could be ahead or what should be ahead. Understand that, okay? We are sensing our destiny ahead. We're sensing our fate ahead, all right? And Pallas Athena is basically our wisdom, our pattern recognition, our intuition, our insight, strategic outlooks that looks into the future, in which we're forming intentions on how we're going to strategize, how we anticipate, or how we need the future to look like, or manifest. What do we need it to look like? What do we need it to be like? You know what I'm saying? And so Pallas Athena is to look down that tunnel, and you're using your past experiences, you're using your wisdom, you're using everything that you got within your being to intuit what needs to happen and how does it need to happen. You know, and considering all things that I have learned, considering all things that needs to be respected, honored, reverenced, and taken count of, according to what I have experienced, if I'm going to be a responsible person, if I'm going to maintain a certain level of control and accountability, if I'm going to remain sensitive to the nuances that makes the difference in my integrity, I have to look at it a certain way in how this future is coming in. I have to put all hands on deck, and I also understand that there's a portion that I'm creating, there's a portion that the universe is co-creating with me. What portion is my responsibility, and what portion is for me to show up in surrender and acceptance? You know what I'm saying? Grace, so on and so forth. All right. So, with that being said, Pallas Athena is a real key factor in how we're relating to Saturn and Neptune, because Pallas Athena is what's given us the confidence to balance out the Debbie Downer, the disillusionment, the post-nut clarity, you know what I'm saying, of Saturn conjunct Neptune. Okay, that's like a post-nut clarity situation. You all hyped up and gassed up about the situation, but as soon as you bust that nut, all of a sudden all your good sense comes back. Now you're thinking right. Now you're operating with wisdom. Now you can see things clearly. But before then, you was dumb as a box of rocks. You know what I'm saying? Because you was sexually excited. You was getting ahead of yourself because you were sexually, under excitement and pressure and duress. You know what I'm saying? So now you're grounded and you're sober. Now that you got your nut. You know what I'm saying? You can think clear now. You can understand how to apply the math to the situation and be responsible. Now you're more insightful and you're weighing things realistically and authentically. Okay, the authenticity comes in to the picture. So anyway, with this being said, consider these things, okay, concerning your Aries and Pisces placement, because this is what we're transferring after all. Okay, that's the meaning of the 1 year. The 1 year is about transferring from Pisces into Aries. We're going to transfer the load from Pisces into Aries to where we see it as a manifest reality. Understand that. You need to know your personal year for that, the context of your personal year. If you don't know these things, you don't understand these things, you need to get with me behind the scenes so I can get you caught up, get you a foundation, give you the notes. You know what I'm saying? Don't just, be walking around lost, Seek help, seek support so we can get you caught up. Understand that.